Joe, welcome. How are you?
I'm good, Mike. How are you?
I know this was a very emotional couple of weeks, Joe, and it showed yesterday it's still a very emotional kind of raw time for you, huh?
Yeah, it is. Parents aren't replaceable. And when you lose someone that you were so close to and introduced you to such a great game and taught you so much about life, it's difficult. And when you go through such, you think about the last month we went through and a tough series with Baltimore and then to lose the way we did to Detroit, it hurts. And you know that it's what we play for. We play to get that opportunity to win a World Series, and we came up short.
Was it tough to manage through this, Joe? Was it hard for you to get through these couple of weeks?
No, it wasn't. In your downtime, you find yourself thinking of your parents and what you're going through. But it wasn't. I mean, a lot of times it's where you're around a lot of people that you're really close to, and it takes your mind off some of the things that's going on, maybe outside the ballpark. Sometimes it might be easier to be at work in a sense because your mind's really occupied.
All right, there's two things here. There's the terrific September race. There's a classic win in a 5-game series, and then probably the worst postseason display the Yankees ever had in a series. How much does what just happened in the Tiger series take away from everything else, or can you separate them?
I can separate them. As I told our team last night that, this hurts, and we came up short from what we really came here to accomplish. But you can't forget a lot of the good things that happened this year. And, you win the East. You have to grind it out the whole time. The injuries we lost so many key players during the course of the year. And it started with Pineda, someone we were counting on during, to be in our rotation and to be a high-level rotation guy. And then you lose a closer that is a legend. And you have guys step up in the bullpen, and you lose your third baseman, your first baseman, your left fielder for the whole year. Your shortstop plays on a bum ankle the whole time. You lose 2/5 of your rotation in one day. And we overcame a lot, and our guys kept at it. And for that, I was extremely proud of them, extremely proud of what we accomplished in the first series. And it's difficult, and we know that we didn't reach what we wanted to reach. But there were a lot of good things that happened this season, and you can't forget those.
Joe, how do you explain, if you can, what went on in this Tiger series? I mean, the level of ineptitude at the plate was almost mind-boggling. I mean, we can all, I don't even need to repeat the guy's numbers. I mean, what do you think we were looking at?
Mike, it's hard for me to put my finger on, how it was so difficult. Why so many guys had such a difficult time, because these are guys that were good hitters during the course of the season and swung the bat extremely well. And it just seems like our holes got exposed. Maybe our guys got frustrated when some things didn't go right early on in the series. It's hard for me to put my finger on because, you can think about what Robbie Cano was before the playoffs started. He was as hot as any hitter I've ever seen.
He had 600 the last 9 games of the season.
And multiple hits, I think, in every game. And it's just, it's mind-boggling. We talk about hitting can be contagious. We talk about pitching can be contagious. And we just really couldn't get anything going. Jeet did a good job. You look at the job that he did. Ibanez and Ichiro had pretty good series. Teixeira did it okay. And, Nooney. But for the most part, collectively, we really, really struggled.
When you look at this, it's almost like, Joe, the first 2 innings of the Tiger series where they make the play on A-Rod, which could have been a 2-run single, and then the ball that Cano hits could have been a 2-run single, and it seemed to turn the whole series on its ear after those 2 innings.
Yeah. But we were able to come back from that. You think about it, we were down 4-0 in the ninth, and we got to 4-4. And then we weren't able to get any more runs. And Sanchez threw a pretty good game against us, and we swung the bats okay in that game, but we didn't make a lot of noise in that game. And then after that, we didn't have a whole lot of hits after those first 2 games. And we know that Verlander's a strikeout pitcher, and he's one of the best in our league. You could argue that he is the best in our league. And then you look at Scherzer. He's been tough on us. So, it's still really hard for me to understand how so many guys could go cold at once, but it happened, and it's frustrating.
Talking with Joe Girardi. Joe, when you left New York, what was your feeling when you left New York for Detroit? What was your feeling about this series?
I still felt that we were going to win the series. We had success off of Verlander this year. We had some success off of him last year, and I thought our bats would turn around. But unfortunately, I was wrong, and we didn't really make a lot of noise against Verlander, and we really didn't make any noise against Scherzer.
Were you completely now we've been told and we've heard from Brian and everyone else this was an organizational decision, and it really became such a huge thing that I think it might have overwhelmed the whole series. Were you completely behind with the organization, the A-Rod thing? Was everyone 100% behind, or was there debate? As you benched him off the two at-bats without Jeter, I thought you needed his leadership and his veteran experience, and then he was put on the bench there, and you changed the lineup a lot, and I thought maybe that just made everything very unstable for this team in Detroit. How hard was that decision to sit him in Detroit before the third game?
Well, it's never easy to sit someone that has accomplished what he's accomplished. And I think you have to evaluate things fairly, and that was something that I tried to do. I looked at his at-bats in September. I looked at him in the playoffs and the struggles that he had against right-handers, and Chavi had been very productive off of right-handers during the course of the year. And it was something that I just decided to do. It wasn't necessarily that it wasn't thought out. And there's always going to be discussion about who you play and who you feel good about that day.